Jon Jones versus Thiago Santos. Who won the fight? That seems to be the question that everyone is asking. Now, on one side, you've got people like Dana White who claim that Jon Jones completely dominated the fight. And if you have any questions at all about the fact that Jon Jones won, you should stop judging fights. Now, I think that is complete nonsense. Jon Jones did not completely dominate the fight. And then on the other side, you've got people that are saying that this is a blatant robbery, and Thiago Santos also clearly won this fight. I also think that is complete nonsense. Thiago Santos did not clearly win this fight. This was a close fight. Now, the one area though that I've personally found consensus and I've seen that the two groups actually agree on is when it comes to who won each round. Now, round number 2 is the round that a lot of people disagree on. It's the deciding round, but if you look at how a lot of people are scoring this fight, you're going to notice that a vast majority of people agree that Thiago Santos won rounds number 1 and round number 5. And a vast majority of people also agree that Jon Jones won round number 3 and round number 4, which leaves round number 2 as the round that we all need to agree on or disagree on, but the round number 2 is the deciding round. Now, I think Jon Jones won the second round. Now, a lot of you are going to hear that and immediately tune off completely, and you're going to say that the reason why I said that Jon Jones won round number 2 is because I'm a Jon Jones fan, so I'm biased. But if you're going to listen, which I hope you will, I'm going to try to prove to you why I believe Jon Jones won rounds number 2. And if at the end you still don't agree with me, we can agree to disagree. Now, how can we come to a consensus in round number 2? We can do that by looking at the new unified rules of mixed martial arts. In the description of this video below, I'm going to leave a video by John McCarthy, okay? A video where he, in great detail, went over what we all should look at, what the judges should look for while judging a fight. And we're going to start with this. He says, when you're judging a fight, the two things that you should look for, the two initial things that you should completely focus on, forget everything else, just focus on these two things, is striking and grappling, because these are the two things that makes a fight. If fighters are not striking, if fighters are not grappling, it's not a fight, it's a dance. Those are his own words. So when you're judging a fight, you look at the striking and you look at the grappling. Who is more effective as a striker? Who is more effective as the grappler? Whoever is the more effective striker and grappler wins the round. Whoever is more effective in either area wins the round. Now, when you look at Jon Jones versus Thiago Santos, there was very little grappling in this fight, if any. A vast majority of this fight happened kickboxing. This was basically a Muay Thai kickboxing match between Jon and Thiago. So we can only focus on striking because that is what they did. Now, I'm not going to talk about other rounds because the vast majority of us agree. Thiago won round number 1. That's clear. He absolutely did. Thiago won round number 5. I think he did. You think he did. We don't need to go into that. Jon Jones won round number 3 and round number 4. So let's focus on round number 2, the round that a lot of people disagree on. And let's see if we can come to consensus. Round number 2 had no grappling. It was all striking. Okay, now let's keep that in mind. When you look at the second round, the one thing that you'll notice is that there were flurries in there, flurries from Thiago Santos, flurries from Jon Jones. At one point, Thiago Santos rushed him down with a body kick, followed up with a few hooks, a vast majority of those missing, but you get the point. Jon Jones, at one point in that fight, landed a roundhouse that I guess you could say dropped Thiago Santos, but I don't really count that as a drop because Thiago hurt his knee earlier in that round, and you can attribute that drop to the knee injury. So I wouldn't really call that an actual drop, but that led to a flurry against the cage where Jon Jones was able to sneak in a beautiful elbow in there. In that round, the striking was basically even. If you watch that round again, both guys hit each other. Both guys did their very best, but at the end of the day, their striking was mostly even. Now, what does John McCarthy say that you should do when you watch a fight and the striking or the grappling is even? How do we determine who won that round? What you do then is you go to the next thing. You remember how you only had to focus on striking and grappling? Now he wants you to focus on who was the aggressor, who had the octagon control. That's how you determine who won that contest, when the striking or grappling is even or very close, so close that you can't really definitively say this one fighter clearly won that. Thiago Santos was the one moving backwards in round number 2. For a vast majority of that round, he was backing up. And for a vast majority of that round, Jon Jones was the one moving forward. Now, keep in mind, I am only talking about octagon control and aggressive posture because the striking was even. In round number 1, Jon Jones was also the one that was moving forward. He was the one that had the more aggressive posture. But I didn't give him that round because he clearly lost the striking match. Thiago Santos landed way more strikes than Jon Jones. He was a lot more effective even while backing up. It was not a close striking match like it was in round number 2. So because of that, we're going to look at who had the forward pressure, who had octagon control, who had the aggression. It was Jon Jones. And because of that, I'm giving round number 2 to Jon Bones Jones. And if you follow the new unified rules of mixed martial arts, unless you're being completely disingenuous, it's going to be very difficult for you to score that round for anyone but Jon Jones. Follow the judging. Just follow how you're supposed to judge it. You will judge that round for Jon Jones. Which means that Jon Jones won rounds number 2, round number 3, round number 4. That's 3 rounds to 2. Jon Jones wins the fight. Now, I'm not scoring this for Jon Jones because he's the champion, which I've also seen a lot of people talk about. I think that's complete nonsense. I think if you win a fight, you should win the fight. It doesn't matter if you're facing a champion. If you win more rounds, you should win the fight. A lot of people are saying that the reason why Jon Jones won is because Jon Jones is the champion. And when you're facing the champion, you really got to beat the champion to take his belt. I completely disagree with that. And I don't think that's what happened here. I think the judges did a good job. The one judge that scored the fight for Thiago Santos, I can see why he would. But the rest did their job. They judged that round the right way that you're supposed to judge a round. Not my words. Don't take my word for it. I'm going to leave a link in the description. Go watch the video yourself. Listen to what Big John has to say. Again, I'll repeat. When the striking or grappling is as even and you can't really pinpoint who won that round, that's when you go to aggression and octagon control. And whoever it is had the aggression and octagon control, that's who you give the edge to. And that's what happened in round number 2. So Jon Jones wins the fight in a fight that I have to say really surprised me. It surprised me because Jon didn't grapple. Then again, when I think about it, I'm not that surprised. I'm not that surprised because this is the same Jon Jones that when the clear path to victory for Chael Sonnen was a grappling match, Jon Jones went out there and initiated grappling with Chael Sonnen. When the clear path for victory against someone like Daniel was to completely avoid wrestling with him and engaging with him in this grindy type of fight, that is exactly what Jon Jones did in the first fight. He fought DC where he was great at, where he was the best at, and beat him right there. When the clear path to victory for Glover Teixeira was on the inside, in the pocket, the one place you don't want to fight Glover because he is so powerful on that inside, that pocket, that is exactly where Jon Jones took the fight to. He took the fight to the pocket, fought him in the pocket, and beat him in the pocket. He tried the same thing when he fought Gustafsson the first time. It almost backfired. But this is the game that Jon Jones plays. This is the game he plays. The same thing with Rampage Jackson. No, everyone said Jon will never stand with Rampage. He did. He stood with Rampage Jackson for a majority of that fight before finishing him on the ground. So with Thiago Santos, a man who is known for his Muay Thai prowess, he has a black belt in Muay Thai, has beautiful leg kicks. It is no surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise to me that this is exactly where Jon Jones will fight him. He had the takedown in his back pocket, and at numerous times there were opportunities to try to go for that takedown. But I think Jon Jones tried one time, and it wasn't even like a vigorous attempt. It was just kind of like, it was kind of there, and he made a small attempt and then just abandoned it. For the majority of the fight, Jon Jones fought Thiago Santos where he was best at. And that made the fight a lot closer than I personally believed it should have been. Also, what made the fight closer is Thiago Santos. Thiago is a lot more technically sound than I or anyone gave him credit for. Maybe you did. I'm not going to speak for you. Maybe you did. Maybe you knew he was that technically good. But I didn't. I didn't, because there was no clear evidence for that. I mean, you look at him, he's kind of wild, he's unpredictable, but I didn't know that he was that fundamentally sound when it comes to kickboxing. And that was a surprise. It was a shock to me. It was a surprise to Jon Jones, I'm pretty sure. And because of that, what we got was a chess match, a kickboxing Muay Thai chess match. And I don't understand why a lot of people thought that was a bad fight. I didn't. I really enjoyed it. I mean, when I was hearing about the fight, because I didn't watch it live, everyone just made it sound like it was such a terrible performance by both guys, but it really was not. This was a classic Muay Thai kickboxing match. If you watch Muay Thai matches frequently, this is what they look like. It is a chess match. It is a whole lot of leg kicks, a whole lot of bone-on-bone collision, clashing, and usually both fighters walk out of there in wheelchairs limping if they know what they're doing. And that is what we got. We got an extremely high-level Muay Thai fight, and I am very, very happy with that performance. Now, if they do have a rematch, I would like to see Jon Jones switch things up, like he always does. In the second fight versus DC, he did not necessarily attack DC the same way as the first time. He switched things up, and it was a lot cleaner. Second fight against Gustafsson, also a lot cleaner. I would like to see him, if they do a rematch, have a much cleaner performance, attack Thiago where he is weak, his grappling, and try to make this thing a lot easier for yourself. You've already experienced his kickboxing. You've got that experience. You don't need to do it again. That said, Thiago Santos has been in there with Jon Jones. Okay? He is now officially a dangerous man. More dangerous than he was before. Because now he's been in there with Jon. He knows what to expect. And I don't see a lot of people in that weight class right now beating him. It is only a matter of time before he gets right back to Jon Jones. Only a matter of time. And I personally cannot wait for that rematch. I think it's going to be a great fight if it happens again. And if not, we'll see what happens. In the meantime, like I said, round number 2 won by Jon Jones. Jon Jones won this fight. If you disagree, let me know in the comment section why you disagree. If you think they won different rounds than the rounds that I mentioned right here, let me know in the comment section as well. And I would definitely love to discuss that with you guys. But that is it. Overall, it was a great card. I don't really want to talk too much about the whole entire card. Watching Luke Rockhold get KO'd was, watching Holly Holm get KO'd was not good, man. Did not feel good. Watching Diego Sanchez get dominated, wasn't really. I really didn't like to watch that. But overall, it was a great card. It was a really, really good card. Everyone showed up. Everyone performed. Amanda Nunes, she really performed at a really, really high level. But I'll end it right here. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Again, let me know in the comment section how you guys scored that fight. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a wonderful day.